Hey up, it's that old Yorkshire geek here, and it's Wednesday, which means it's Moon Night Day. So we're up to episode 3 of this Disney Plus Marvel series, so let's just get on with it. Got my Disney Plus lined up. Press play. Obviously no sound, I've no sound playing because I don't want to get done, do I? But I've got subtitles on. We're having the recap, and it's basically showing us, what we've seen is got the scarab, blah 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 blah. Arthur Harrow wants the scarab to find Ammit's tomb. Rum-ti-tum. Amit Khonshu punishes those who have committed crimes, and Amit punishes those who will commit a crime, whether they've committed it or not. She sees all, past, present and future. So we're learning that we've got Stephen Grant and we've got Mark Spector, who, two personalities in one body. Then later on in this episode, spoilers, we find there's a third one who we haven't got a name for yet. But I'm sure we will. In the comics it was, I forgot now. My brain's gone bye-bye. Anyway, so Mark has got control of the body and is buggered off to Egypt. To Egypt. Now then, this is Layla. This is Mark's wife, apparently, who wants to divorce him. And she's here having some false papers made. Because it's so easy to get false papers made. I suppose it's not what you know, it's who you know. This kindly old lady, who was not very kindly. I've seen her in something else. What have I seen her in? It's a very familiar face. Kindly old lady with some marshmallows, doing false fake IDs. Because the salt of the earth criminals, these probably got nothing at all to do with drugs and gangsters and stuff like that, murder. Because it's Marvel and Disney. Look at what she's doing there. Probably getting all bloody marshmallow fingerprints all over it, look. All creased and knackered. I don't like her. I don't like this Layla. I'm sure the actress, is it May Calamawy, however the hell you pronounce it, is lovely, but I don't like the character. Well, because she's one of these. She's the bestest ever, isn't she? She's one of them. She's no flaws at all. She's great at everything. And that's just the way it is these days, it seems. I wish it'd change. But, I love women, but show them with flaws. Like they do with the men. Men are nothing but flawed these days, and the women are perfect in every way. Thanks, Me Too. You saved Hollywood. By the way, if my voice is still a bit croaky, I'm still recovering from this bloody bug. I've had it a couple of weeks now, and I'm still coughing a little bit, and it's doing my nutting. I wish it'd sod off. So anyway, here's the papers that she's gonna go. She's gonna go to Egypt. Apparently, she's from Egypt originally, and she's going back there. Thanks, whoever you are. She related to her. Seems, or she's just a friend of the family. I don't know. And the titles. Here come the titles, which is still cool. To be honest, the titles are the coolest part of a lot of Marvel shows and films these days. I know I'm sounding jaded and bitter, but it's true. Excuse me, see, I told you. I'm peffing, as my mum would say. Right, we're in the desert. Is it, are they on Jeddah? Looks like it, doesn't it? There's a big statue somewhere of a fallen Jedi. I will meet, what's his face, Two Tubes, or whatever the bloody hell they called him. It is very, very Jedderish. I wonder if it's the same location. Probably in Jordan or somewhere like that. I bet it is. I bet it is. Or it could be on a set for all you know, these days. You know, with the volume. Anyway, they found Amit's tomb, and there's that's the copper. You know, the man who may have been pretending to be a detective. I don't know if he was or not. Maybe he's a real policeman. I don't know. And he's his partner. And apparently they're called, one's called Fitzgerald, one's called Kennedy. You know, JFK. Why? Dunno. Don't know. Where are we? What's going on here? Oh, this is Mark now on some rooftop chase. Doing a bit of parkour style stuff. And he, too late, this person he wanted to talk to has been stabbed by these ruffians. These must be the Egyptian version of the Crips or whatever, you know, some gang. But they're working for Amit. I'm sure they've got the tattoo somewhere, but I don't know if we see it or not. Bit of dancing. No, we're dancing, we're fighting, what we're going to do. Not shades of poor Dameron there, weren't there? Anyway, Mark Spector can handle himself. It's 3-on-1, and he's still, you know, kind of got the upper hand. In your face, foreigner. I'm sure that's an accurate translation. Because apparently in episode 2, that Mandarin that they were speaking, what a load of rubbish it was. Basically, I'm going ching chong pong ching chong into camera. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So maybe they were just going and saying it were Arabic. You never know. Anyway, it's a jolly, you know, it's a good fight scene, is this actually? It's well choreographed. There we go. Oh, reflective surfaces, they are the bane of his existence, aren't they? Don't do it, Mark, stop it. And there we go. Do. And something's happened. I was getting confused here. I'm like, what's happened? So did Stephen do something there and he's got him in a taxi? You know, how did Stephen suddenly overcome these bad guys who are bent on killing Mark? I don't know. So he sees two of them there. Did one of them get killed? I can't actually remember. I won't pay much attention. Sorry. Well, they're terrified of him. So I can't see him being terrified of Stephen. So this is where we get the impression that there's a third personality. And, I'm going to have to look it up. Hang on, where's my phone? Just a minute. Because I can't remember his name. The taxi driver in the comics. I've not read the comics, you see. Because I'm not that much of a geek. Right. Moon Knight. I don't know. But see, I'm missing the show here, aren't I? I'm missing there's another fight scene anyway. Why? And people, why aren't he turning into Moon Knight? Because it's not night time, is it? And the moon's not up. Personalities. All this just to find a bloody name. Jake Lockley, that's it, Jake Lockley. We've got Mark Spector, Stephen Grant, and Jake Lockley, who were a cab driver, apparently. Anyway, it's got knocked out again. And then he comes to, and he's stabbed the bugger. Bit gruesome, that, isn't it? And he's killed the other one as well. Oh, so there was another one. He's killed that one as well, and there's just the kid left. Seeing Stephen saying he swears it wasn't him, so it must be, you know, is it Jake Lockley? Oh, they're going to have another character, because remember the security guard kept calling him Scotty, so they're going to have a made-up one. A new one. I don't know. Khonshu's telling him to, you know, get the kid and hang him over the edge. So we have an homage to the James Bond film, The Spy Who Loved Me. And he goes, where is Feckish? Pyramids! But in that case, James Bond kills the bloke. And in this case, the young chap kills himself. Oh, plummet. Thud. Body thuds, subtitles say. And then Khonshu makes a joke about it. I thought he'd talk. Yeah, because it's funny, when people die. By the way, a lot of people seem to die in this episode. Stephen says Mark's going on a killing spree. Mark says he didn't do it. So, that's it. Another personality. Jake Lockley, or this mysterious Scotty. I mean, that security guy might just be an idiot and just not get his name right, but you never know, do you? Did I press record? Yes, I did. Good job I checked that, isn't it? I could have been talking to myself again. Anyway, right, so Khonshu, who's looking very relaxed there, says they're going to talk to the gods, the other gods, the Ennead. It says if they do that, they could imprison him, lock him in stone. So he's not keen on that idea. Because they've got to try and find, obviously, Amet's tomb before Harrow does. I mean, he's already found it, hasn't he? But they've got to get there before he enters it, I suppose. Anyway, Khonshu's made an eclipse happen. So I wonder what would happen, if something like this really happened. Obviously, it's an unpredicted eclipse. So has he actually used the moon, moved it out of orbit, or is it an illusion? That's he's just covered up the sun with with his thumb, basically. You know what I mean? Is it not actually real, or is it? Or did he actually move the moon? Because he does another thing later on with the stars. So I think it's illusion more than rather than real. Don't like that skull. Don't like. It looks too cartoony for me. The eye socket looks too cartoony. It looks too jolly. Like the cartoons that you used to see in the 1920s and stuff, where they were all trees dancing about and they all had big daft eyes. Reminds me of one of them. Right, so there's found apparently these Egyptian gods. They have these hidden portals that take you. Well, apparently here is in the somewhere in the Great Pyramid at Giza. I don't think that there's a space that big in the Great Pyramid that would go undiscovered. Because they've looked in a lot of places in the Great Pyramid and scanned and done all this stuff. And I think if there were an area, a void that big in the Great Pyramid, it had been found by now. Maybe not entered, but it'd have been, they'd know it were there. Because they've done all sorts of tests and stuff. Ground penetrating radar and all that stuff. But anyway, whatever, it's just fantasy. Right, so they're in this big chamber. Excuse me. And these are the avatars that the gods use. Now this all I'm a Stargate fan, and this all reminds me of Stargate SG-1. They even have glowing eyes in a little bit. If you don't know about Stargate SG-1, the TV series, a race of aliens called the Goa'uld inhabit human hosts and pretend to be gods, usually Egyptian gods, but sometimes they're not. Sometimes there's like Greek and Roman gods and stuff like that, but it's usually Egyptian gods. So you have a Hathor. She's saying she's the avatar of Hathor. So there was a Hathor in Stargate. She was obviously the baddies. They're baddies in Stargate. They're evil aliens. And so this just reminds me of that. There we go. The glowing eyes look. The voices should change as well, shouldn't they? They should go all vibrating like the go old voices. So I'm saying they've ripped off Stargate. No. Look, go old snakeheads. Get Jack O'Neill and SG1 in there to sort them out. Anyway, these gods don't like Khonshu because they think is irrational and all that, and he thinks they're over righteous. This is him talking through Mark. Anyway, they've decided that they've been there obviously for thousands of years, and they just observe. They're a bit like the Eternals when the universe were going to crap, with Thanos smiting half of all life, not just human life, all life in the universe. They just sat back and did nothing because they just observe. Basically, they hadn't thought of it when they did that storyline. They didn't think about more super powerful beings that wouldn't interfere. Anyway, Khonshu's telling them that Arthur Harrow wants to release Amit, and they're asking him what proof has he got. So they summon Arthur Harrow. He comes and pleads his case. Come on then, Frame. You have to walk so slow. Anyway. Here he is, old dead-eyed Ethan Hawke. I'm sorry, I just find him uncharismatic. And they're saying, are you going to release Amit? And he says, I'm just going to the desert to have a look around. And apparently that's good enough for them. But he turns it on Mark Spector. Basically, he talks about how Mark Spector is ill because he's got his multiple personalities and he can't control himself. And Khonshu's a shamed god, so why should they trust what Khonshu has to say? Luckily, Hathor seems to have a soft spot for Khonshu for some reason. Because she's the goddess of sex and drugs and rock and roll, apparently, as Jack O'Neill said in Stargate. So here he's basically saying that Mark and Stephen and that they have arguments with themselves. See, and we're going to punch him, but then the god, I can't remember which one that is, stops him. Is he Isis or Osiris or I don't know. Excuse me. So the saying is Khonshu's taking advantage of Mark and Stephen, the way he did Arthur Harrow. It's basically sowing seeds of mistrust amongst the gods, but they didn't trust Khonshu anyway, which is why he was banished. I don't know what that means, and this is why banished. I don't know, but banished from where? Where do they go when they're not being gods? Because Khonshu seems, free to wander about and possess people, doesn't he? So, I don't know, maybe it just means banished from the council. Mark admits that he's unwell, but that doesn't change the fact that Arthur Harrow is trying to release Amit, which is what he said. He goes, they're trying to make it all about Khonshu trying to exploit him, but he's saying no, that's not the point. We're trying to stop Harrow from releasing Amit unto the world, and she'd kill millions. Anyway, there we go. Giving the avatars the bodies back. So rather than the gold, they're more like the Tok'ra. There's another, like a splinter group of the gold in Stargate, where their hosts are taken willingly and can get control back of the body from the alien within when they need to. Right, she's saying so there's another way. She's telling him that just one person knew where Amit was buried, and it was a Medjay, which I thought, I remember that word, Medjay. It was in Assassin's Creed Origins, wasn't it? Your character, that was a Medjay. A Medjay called Senfu, and his sarcophagus on it, or in it, or whatever, has got the means of finding Amit's tomb. So they've got to find Senfu's sarcophagus, which was sold on the black market. So here he is, in the market. It's not, the black market isn't an actual market. But that's what they're trying to go for here, isn't it? Says, wants to buy a drink from this jolly chap in a fez. And then he says to him, "Where's Senfu's sarcophagus?" So obviously he must be, some intermediary who knows about these things. A black marketeer who works on a market. But then Layla appears, and he's like, "For God's sake, you got 5 minutes, can I?" Don't like her. Sorry. And I can't. What's her accent? She's like kind of. I'm gonna have to look her up now. She's kind of got a British accent, but also an American accent. So, or is it with a bit of Egyptian mixed in? I don't know. Anyway, they're on a boat now, going down the Nile. Oh, she's from Bahrain. Oh, there you go. From Bahraini born Egyptian-Palestinian actress. So she's and she currently works and resides in the United States. So there you go. So she got a bit of an American accent, I suppose. Right, anyway, so she knows who got the sarcophagus. Some bloke called, I forgot what she said. So they have to go there. And she's sporting a very fetching necklace there, which will come into play later. I thought that's a bit a peculiar thing she's wearing. I wonder if that'll be a weapon later on. And yes, it will be. Spoilers. Pardon me. And now they're all dancing to the music that were playing at their wedding. Awkward. So Stephen Grant had this flat, didn't he, that he said was his mother's. Where were Mark Spector's flat? Or were it the same flat? I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud. Anyway, they're having a touching moment. There's obviously still feelings between them, even though they're getting divorced. They still love each other. But I think she falls in love with Stephen Grant myself. She seems fond of him, rather than Mark. Do you know why? Because she can dominate Stephen and not Mark. Sorry. Anyway, there we go. She's tying her hair back now. Nice means business. Hair's getting tied back. Doesn't make much difference. Right, so they have to work out their backstory. He's some bloke or other, and you was on honeymoon or whatever. Of course, she knows him, this chap, who's played by, is it Gaspar Ulliel? Is that how you pronounce it? Who tragically were killed before this were released, like a few months ago. Killed in a skiing accident, which is very sad. And they do a thing at the end, in memory of him, which is very sad. And Harrow's men are watching, because he appears obviously later on in this scene. Anyway, obviously some sort of party going on, and this chap is riding about on his horses, using spears and stuff. Why? Because he can. Because he's rich. There he is, that's the Gaspar Ulliel. Sorry, I'm pronouncing it wrong. The late Gaspard. There she knows him, the pound shop Jimon Honshu. It is. I bet they wrote it. Can we get Jimon Honshu for this role? But he'd been in Guardians of the Galaxy. It don't matter. No, we can't afford him. Oh, sorry. Never mind then. We'll get somebody else. So she's saying he's getting private lessons from the best. So the other fellas on the horses are the best of the best at what they do on the horses with the spears, which will come into play later. And they're, willing to kill people. Well, superheroes. Or is it he's an anti-hero or whatever, I don't know. Anyway, so he's obviously this new fella, who apparently is another character called Midnight Man. Apparently, it's like a kind of a version of Moon Knight, but in a dark outfit. I don't know if he's got powers. I don't know, but just going by the look. And he's got some pyramids, reminiscent of the one at the Louvre, I suppose you could say. But he's got his sarcophagus, Senfu sarcophagus in one of them pyramids. So Mark just wants to go take a look. He don't like him, does he? They don't like each other. Suspicious. I wonder why. Because it's all very dodgy. Anyway, she's reading the text and there's no sign of a location of Amit's tomb. But then she says they need Stephen. There he is in reflection, because he knows all this stuff. So he says he's got to talk to Stephen, so keep the other fella occupied. Which I'm sure she can do, because she can do anything. You want to see her fighting in a minute or two. Just needs a couple of minutes alone. Why? Don't know. Oh, he's praying. There he was praying. Because, people always pray to Egyptian sarcophagi. There we go. Look on the wrappings, basically. Stars. Pictures of stars. And they've got to make a star map, which will give the location. But it's not as simple as that, as we will find out. Obviously, this star map was made 2,000 years ago, or more. And he disarmed that chap easily, didn't he? Pound shop Jimon Honshu. Mogart, that's it, Mogart. Not Bogart, Mogart. Tell him to get on his knees. Why does he tell him to get on his knees? I don't know. Was this a baddie? She tells them they're trying to save lives. Take a look in the sarcophagus. I don't know what he wants to show him. They're on here. Senfu's mummy, isn't it? And now Arthur Harrow's appeared. As if by magic, he gets around, doesn't he? He must have like a helicopter or something that just flies him about. All these different places. Because Egypt's a big place, you know. Egypt. They were showing him the compass that shows him where Amit's tomb is. She's saying you can't trust him. But obviously, Mobart doesn't know who to trust, or Mogart, whatever the hell it's called. Now he's saying he's saying that her father, it looks like her father was murdered by Mark Spector, or Mark Spector at least knows more about what happened to her father. If he didn't murder him himself, he knows what happened to her father. It seems to have Mogart under his spell a little bit here. I don't know if he does or if he's... or what, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if Mogart had a bloody tattoo on his inside of his wrist. Summon the suit, says Khonshu. Anyway, what's his face? Harrow's chanting in Coptic. Which is like an offshoot of Egyptian, isn't it? Ancient Egyptian, should I say. It came later. And he's disappeared. Now he's become Moon Knight. And he actually talks in this, but his voice is like normal, which is a bit poo. There's his crescent moon shaped cape. There we go. Bang, bang, bang. Dead people. Bang, dead. And they're getting shot. Look, oh, it's got a bulletproof cape. It's like Batman, isn't it? Bit different. Did he just fire the bullets back there, or were they something else? I don't know. I think he fired the bullets back, didn't he? Right, she's grabbing the star things with stars on, and now she's gonna have a fight with Pound Shop Jimon Honshu as Moon Knight kills people. Oh, and pulling on. Oh God, that looks awful. That looked awful. That fella pulling on his cloak. Yeah, she could stop him, couldn't she? Yeah. She'd have been stabbed about 5 times if it were real life. Thankfully, it's not. Hey, he's going to kill this chap. Is it this chap? Yep. Until we see another reflection from somewhere. Where do we see this next reflection? Because there's always a reflection. Oh no, Stephen has taken control and become the Moon Knight in the white suit. And he wants to talk it all out. For God's sake. Chill the F out, he said. And now he gets punctured. He does it's just like thing off Lord of the Rings. Sean Bean. There, look, she's fainting, look. All getting impaled. Oh, crikey. That's more like it. They're throwing about. She'd have been knocked out by now. But then again, she got thrown about by There we go, taking a necklace off. And there we go, she's going to stab him. Ah, bang. I don't think he's dead. He could bleed to death, I suppose, technically. She's going to save a superhero because, you know, she's the bestest ever. Although she did get knocked over there. Oh, he's going to kill her. Yep, sorted them out. I was going to save Layla. Where's Eric Clapton when you need him? That was a reference to Eric Clapton's song Layla, in case you didn't guess. I know I'm no singer. Oh, ding-a-linger. Right, where have they gone now? Oh, they're in a car. Right, she's found this car from somewhere. Did she buy it? Is it hers? Don't know. Don't tell us. Don't tell us where they got it. Is it a rental? Don't know. Anyway, he's changing all his outfit because it got punctured by... but he won't wear it. He had... why has his clothes got holes in it? But yet he will wear... You know, he was covered by Moon Knight's trappings, wasn't he? So shouldn't that have protected his clothes as well? Or did all that stuff actually go through him and just healed him and not his clothes? Yeah, I think that's probably it, isn't it? He did get punctured by all those spears. And so his clothes got holes in. But his body didn't, or if it did, it just healed up instantly. Anyway, she's asking about, you know, what does Mark know about her father's death? And he don't know. He's saying he don't know, but obviously he does. So anyway, they have to go out into the desert somewhere. I don't know how they know where to go. I think they just go out where it's away from the city, where the sky's dark, so they can see the stars. I think that's all they're doing. And there's yet another Harrow disciple, because they're everywhere. He has branches all over. There's Harrow, which is actually in the UK is the name of a posh private school. Does that have any significance? Probably not. Just thought I'd point it out. Right, they have to try and put this this star map, which is essentially what it is, together. And the thing is, you know, they'll put it together and then they'll see the orientation of the stars, the constellations, and obviously if they hold that up, I presume wherever the middle of that is, will be where Amit's tomb is. But that's, you know, that by itself doesn't. I mean, you've got to have a time. The thing as well, it's got to be the stars at a certain time in the sky because they rotate, don't they? As the Earth spins, the stars change position in the sky, don't they? So they'd have to have a time as well. So it'd be at its zenith or what? I don't know. Anyway, so they're saying they need Stephen to help them because he knows all this stuff because he's super brainy. So I don't know why he needs to take the mirror and say, okay, you can do it. Why don't you just let Stephen take over? They haven't needed to look into a mirror before, have they? But they do now. So there we go, Stephen's in control. He knows what to do. He's going to do loads of tape on sand. If you ever tried using tape on sand, I imagine it's quite tricky. Because it gets everywhere. Ask Anakin Skywalker. He knows that sand gets everywhere. Especially when you've got tape. See, she likes him. And he likes her. So he's saying that the Egyptians basically invented travelling using the stars as to travel by, which is nonsense. Obviously, they didn't. A lot of cultures used the stars for navigation. I mean, the Egyptians, they hardly went anywhere really. They went up and down the Nile, and they maybe went round the coast a little bit, and they followed the coast around, to Ethiopia and places like that. But they weren't really seafarers. There she was taking a photo, and then she got the Super A software looking on a tablet, which just transposes it straight into a star map, or whatever. She must have got it on the iStore, because it'll be an iPad, I imagine. I don't know if it were free. Will it be ad supported? Probably. So he's saying there that so that the map was made 2,000 years ago, and the stars, they drift over like thousands of years, not by much, but a little bit. And over 2,000 years, you would notice a slight difference. A precession of the equinoxes, basically, we're talking about. So she could, if she's got snazzy bloody software on a tablet that can do all that stuff, she could have just typed in a date, showed me the stars as they were in whatever 2000 BC or whatever the hell it was, and it had done it. You wouldn't have to do what Khonshu's about to do here, and it does it for everybody. It's not just they do. Pardon me. It's not just these that see what happens here. The whole world seems to see, or at least all of Egypt. There we go. He's going to wind back the clock, literally. Because he does a winding back motion with one of his arms. Because the winding, there we go. Go on, get winding. There we go, wind back the clock. Ooh, it's going up. It's a cool effect. Just like in the time machine when he's going through time, but faster. It's kind of cool. They're all seeing it. Is he really doing that? Is he really doing that, or is it an illusion? I think it's an illusion. Because if he were actually physically doing it, the repercussions would be devastating. So anyway, these gods, these ancient Egyptian gods, are they actually gods? They keep calling themselves gods, but are they actually gods? Or are they like the Asgard, basically aliens? Just like in Stargate, because the Asgard in Stargate pretended to be gods on Earth, Thor and all that, but they were goodies. So the Egyptian gods, aliens, pretending to be, gods. I don't know. I don't think they know either. They haven't decided yet. Anyway, this is Khonshu. The other gods are putting Khonshu and trapping him in stone, and because obviously he shouldn't have done what he's just done. So there he goes. He's trapped in the little stone figurine. I don't know why it's so small. Why they put him in this tiny little figurine? You think they put him in some impressive statue, wouldn't you? But no. I'm guessing they've done it like that so he can pick it up at some point. Mark can grab it and run away with it and find some way to release him at some point later. So basically, does now this mean that Moon Knight is no more? Sorry, I'm getting a bit snotty. I told you this bug. Is Moon Knight no more? now until until Mark or Stephen or whatever finds a way to free him from that figurine. Anyway, don't know why they're showing Arthur Harrow that they've trapped Khonshu in this little figurine. Maybe it's because he used to be Khonshu's avatar. I don't know. Don't explain it. But they're letting him... They're being very kind to this Arthur Harrow chap. I know he's supposed to be, charismatic and persuasive. Just not to me. But you think they're them being, gods in quotes, they'd have sussed him out straight away, wouldn't you? So here he is. He's saying he enjoyed dealing out pain on Khonshu's behalf when he was Khonshu's avatar, when he was Moon Knight, basically. And that's the greatest sin he carries. But he's grateful. Had Khonshu not broken him, he'd have never known the value of healing. So he thinks he's healing people. And I thought he was going to break it here, but he don't. Maybe he can't, I don't know. But why is it so teachy tiny? He says he's going to do what Khonshu could not do. And he'll owe his victory to Khonshu, or Amet's victory. And that's it, that's the end of that episode. Which, to be honest, it was a bit boring. I found it a bit boring. Good fight scenes in it. Well, the rooftop fight scene I quite enjoyed, but all the other stuff was a bit naff, to be honest. A bit naff. They've teased this third personality for, Mark Spector, Stephen Grant, and the other one, whose name I've forgotten already. I'm useless. The other one. I looked it up, didn't I? But apart from that, not a lot happened. We didn't see Amet's tomb. I mean, because he's there, and he's found it now as Arthur Harrow, but he spent all his time following bloody Layla and Mark Spector around, didn't he? Or being summoned by the other gods that Ennead. But now that Khonshu's trapped in that stone statuette, figurine, can Mark and Stephen still summon the suit? Or not? I don't know. You would think not, because it's the gift that Khonshu gave them, innit? And you think Khonshu would have to be around and free. I don't know. So if that means that we're not going to see Moon Knight for a while, that'll make it a bit boring, won't it? That'll make it a bit boring. But I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, won't we? That is my, as I say, that is my credo. Oh, whatever. We'll have to wait and see. So, that's it. Not a very good episode. I didn't enjoy it anyway. Layla had a fight with Pound Store Jimon Honshu. He should have just, knocked her out with one punch, basically. He weighed like twice as much as her. But no, she beat him. Admittedly, she did get, knocked her about a little bit. But she gave as good as she got, didn't she? But, one punch from a big bloke like that and knocked her spark. Or you'd have thought so. But it's the MCU, isn't it? She's she had to go on and then try and save Moon Knight, because he were being beaten down for some reason, and then suddenly he wasn't, and he just sorted them all out with a flick of his cape and went and saved her. So at least he saved her, and she didn't technically save him, which is something, I suppose. Anyway, so we'll leave it there. Not a good episode. I didn't think it was anyway. So we'll see what happens next week. Will Moon Knight appear? Can he appear now that Khonshu's trapped, imprisoned? I don't know. So until next Wednesday, look after each other, and I'll see thee.